Hello and welcome. Today's idiom is pass the buck. Pass the buck. Money? Let's go see if this is what it really means. Hello, my name is Johnny Zabka and I'm a native English speaker from the United States. On my channel, you will learn to speak English fluently, and when you subscribe, you will be notified every time I upload a new video to YouTube. On my channel right now, we have new videos every day to help you learn English. This month, we are focusing on workplace idioms or business idioms. These are also common idioms that you can use. Remember, everything has to do with the context. So are you ready? Pass the buck. Here we see a dollar bill, a couple dollar bills. Actually, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? I think there's 6. Buck. A slang word for a dollar bill is a buck. It's slang. So when we say buck in this, that's not what we're meaning. I'm just going over some extra vocabulary and slang before we get into the real meaning of pass the buck. So buck, a dollar or money. Will you please give me a buck? I need a buck to buy that. When you say buck this way, you are talking about money, or usually a dollar. In the United States, with native speakers, we might call just a dollar a buck. May I please have a buck to go to the store? We usually hear that often. Now, pass the buck. If you have pass the buck, if I have money in my hand, I might say, can you please pass me the buck? But usually I just say, can I please have the money? Give me the dollar. Give me the buck. Okay, so pass the buck as an idiom is not what this really means. So pass the buck means something completely different. I just wanted to show you some different ways we can use this idiom or the different words within it. So pass the buck does not mean to give money to somebody else. So buck was just a slang for a dollar. So if you know that slang, you might think they mean pass the buck like pass money to me, but that's not what it means. Here we have a male deer. Now, if you look up the word buck in a dictionary, it will say male deer. A male deer. Or maybe a male antelope. Deer family, it's the male buck. So, can you pass the buck? Can we pass a deer? No, it's not what this means either. So I just wanted to show you the different ways people might think of pass the buck. So remember, an idiom is not what you think it is. So what is a pass? If you play basketball, you know that you might pass a ball to someone else. If you play soccer or football, as you call it in Europe, you might pass a soccer ball to someone else. You might pass it with your feet. You can pass a ball with your hand. You can pass a ball with your feet. But guess what? That's not what we're talking about here. We are talking about pass the buck, as in it wasn't me. The idiom pass the buck has two main meanings. The first one is it wasn't me. To pass the blame to someone else. Wasn't me. They must have done it. I never would do that. Pass the buck. It's your fault. Don't try to pass the buck to me. It's your fault. Don't try to pass the buck. Don't blame me or make me get in trouble. I didn't do it. Here's a really good sentence example. You have two girls. Uh-oh, one's pointing to the other. When Sally broke the vase, she tried to pass the buck to Mary. She did it, and Mary says, not me. When you shift the blame to someone else, you don't accept the responsibility. So you might also say, not me. I didn't do it. So to pass the buck is to give that responsibility to someone else, to give the fault to someone else. So the first one we talked about was fault. To pass the buck as an idiom means to fault someone else. Like maybe you did it or you don't know who did it, but you blame someone else. You make it their fault. You pass the buck to them. Usually it's with someone who they did do it, but they don't want you to know they did it, and they blame somebody else. They did it, not me. So that's called passing the buck to someone else. Now, responsibility is another way you can think about this. So we have the fault part. We also have responsibility. So in the workplace, you might blame a coworker for doing something wrong. Really, you made the mistake. Or maybe a coworker blamed you for their mistake. They passed the buck to you. That's the fault. Now with responsibility, we're talking about something else. There's a really good example in this next sentence. I don't want to do it, so I'm passing the buck to Ryan. As you can see here, one coworker is passing on all of the work to another coworker, all of the responsibility to someone else. I don't want to do it, so I'm passing the buck to Ryan, giving him the responsibility. Now he can take care of it. So passing on responsibility, not taking it yourself. Usually this means a negative meaning. So like politicians. The politician didn't vote. He thought by not voting on this important thing, he would not have any responsibility. He really passed the buck. He passed on. He did not accept responsibility for it. Okay, so some similar phrases and idioms might be pass responsibility, pass it on. You don't want to take it on. Nope. Would you like to take on this new project? No, I pass the buck on to Sally. I'm going to have her be responsible. You might also say to get out of something. So, the person had something they did wrong or they don't want to do. They might get out of it. They might pass on it. They don't want to do it. Duck responsibility. That's another one you might hear. Duck, to duck it. You don't want to do it, so it's like it passes you by. You duck and you don't have to do it. And then another one you might hear is cop out. These have similar meanings to this phrase of pass the buck. Okay, so I just want to say, if you enjoyed these, you can find me on Hallo. So join me on Hallo, live classes in real time. You can subscribe by clicking on any of the links in the description down below, and make sure you download that Hallo app first or find it on the internet on a computer. Join me on Facebook. I have an English group. It's a group called English 101 Teacher Johnni. So you can hang out there, get some videos. I like to find different videos and helpful tips that I will post there. And I also have like how to subscribe to Hallo and things like that posted in that Facebook group. It's a great group to join. All right, so thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time. Thank you and have a great day.